Shalom, everybody. Bruchim Abayim. We're now studying Minchat Chinuch on the parashat Matot-Ma'asay, mitzvah Taf Yud, mitzvah al beidin להשליך מכה נפש בשגגה מעירו לערי מקלט ועל הרוצח בעצמו ללכת שם. As you see, combines two things. There's an obligation of us to send the רוצח בשגגה, inadvertent murderer. That's we are obligated, the Beidin is obligated to take care that he's there, and it's a mitzvah on himself to go there.
How can we call that the same mitzvah? It sounds like two different obligations.
You're right, and it's interesting. I agree. So now, let's see. Shenitztavu, let's read the Sefer HaChinuch. Shenitztavu beidin shel Yisrael להשליך מכה נפש בשגגה מעירו ולהושיבו מהרגע. Meaning they are commanded to pull him out. Let's say he doesn't want to go. They have an obligation to grab him and put him there. שנאמר והשיבו אותו העדה אל עיר מקלטו וישב בה. That's a quote from our parsha. וישב בה אדמות הכהן הגדול. Now, okay, I'm making a spoiler. This is the main vort of the shi'ur, but I'll throw it already now out. Many writers, Rabbi Amnon Bazak, Rabbi Elchanan San, many. You know what? I'll just leave it now to Rabbi Bazak. Pointed out that there is a difference between parashat Ma'asay and parashat Shoftim. As we know in parashat Shoftim, there's also a big paragraph about רוצח בשגגה. But there it's not presented as you need to grab him from there and put him there, like in our parsha. Rather that he has an option to run there and save his life. Meaning, since we know that Goel Adam, the blood revenger, his heart is warm, and we acknowledge the fact that he might kill him, so we give him an option to be saved. That's a very different phraseology than here. Here it says it's a commandment, even in the title, and Beidin to throw him out there. It's two different things, right? Now, furthermore, in our parsha, it says clearly that there is a time, meaning he needs to sit there till the Kohen Gadol passes away, whether he likes it or not. Okay. V'gam ha'makeh, and now we go. V'gam ha'makeh, meaning the murderer himself, gam hu bichlal mitzvat hasezu. He's also included in this positive commandment. Shneimar alav, and here again a quote from our pasuk: Ki be'il miklato yeshev admot hakohen hagadol. There's this phrase: he must sit or must reside. Yeshev, he must reside there till the Kohen Gadol dies. Meaning it's not an option. We're giving you an option to run away. You must be there till the Kohen Gadol passes away.
That's our parsha.
That's our parsha. All is our parsha. Now, Yechezkel asked, how come they see it as one mitzvah? The mitzvah of the Beidin to throw him in, and his mitzvah to reside there, actually to go there. Why aren't there two separate mitzvahs? So, do you have any idea for a solution to your good question?
I could say that we have a general principle. That doesn't fully answer the question because it wouldn't be a separate mitzvah, but we do have they're allowed to lachriach oto.
What?
They're allowed to force people to do an asay that they haven't done. And so maybe we can call that like its own principle, but then it wouldn't be part of this mitzvah. Then it would be that broad principle that they're allowed to force him.
Okay. All right, so we'll leave it as a question for now. And let's now switch to the next page. Mishorshei HaMitzvah, the roots of the mitzvah, the reasons, Tami HaMitzvah. Lefi she'avon haretzicha chamur ad me'od. The sin of the murdering is very severe. Sheba hashchatzas ha'olam. Ad she'amru zichronam levracha. She'ahoreg nefesh mezid. Afilu asa kol hamitzvot eino nitzol min hadin. One who murders b'mezid intentionally, even if he is the greatest tzaddik, he won't be saved from the din, which is a capital punishment. Shema Adam ashuk benef, that's in Mishlei. Adam ashuk bedam nefesh ad boryanus velo yimalit. Won't be able to run away from it. Velachen ra'ui. So when you see that the one that murders intentionally is such a severe thing, it's like a destruction of the world, and you can't get away from it, even if he's a great tzaddik. Lachen ra'ui. It is appropriate. Lemisha aga fidu shogeg, one who murdered even inadvertently, kivan shebata kalak gdola kazo al yado, since by him such a terrible destruction, takala, we say takala, emis, it came by him, shi'tzta'er alea, he should be sorry about it. Tsa'ar galut. Sheshako kim'at kitza'ar mita. Galus is a form almost of misa, as we know. By the way, we know Anna Marishon was kicked out of Gan Eden. That's like a certain bavua, reflection, whatever, of capital punishment, or galus in the national. When Am Yisrael is kicked out of the land, it's a dead nation. Galus, yeah, or Kayin, we know the same thing. And here, that's what he's saying. Shi'tzta'er alei tsar galut, he should have the pain, the sorrow of tsar galus. Sheshakol kimat ketzar mita. It's almost as equivalent to the tsar of death. Wait a minute. Shenifa da'adam me'ohavav. He is departing from his lovers. Ume'eretz molato, from his homeland, from where he was, from his city where he was grew up, where he resides. V'shochen kol yamav im zarim. And he resides all his life with strangers. Now, what did he want to say?
We're saying that it's so bad based on the outcome, because we said if somebody kills b'mezid, the outcome is so terrible. Well, here the outcome is the same as that, and also ba'onis would be the same.
The what?
If somebody killed ba'onis,
right.
then
So
they also be the same.
You're asking if we're looking at the result. So what about onus? Now you give me the answer. What's the difference between onus and shogeg?
Maybe it's not about the outcome, but also in terms of outcome. I mean, in terms of the chilul Hashem that he did, if it was, there's obviously a difference in terms of the effect he had on the world.
Now assume that the outcome is the same. Still give me a clear distinction.
You couldn't help it. There was no way.
So what do I care? The outcome. You have a good question. If the shogeg, what's the difference? Here you need to think. I'll give you. I was troubled by the same question. I think there is a very sharp answer here. Someone who kills be'onis, you can define as if he didn't kill, meaning he has no responsibility to the outcome. It's his body, like when I said about Matot-Ma'asay, if you remember. His body killed the guy. His personality did not, freedom of choice, whatever, did not kill the guy. So the outcome, the objective outcome, is terrible. A guy is dead. Okay? But they can't punish him for this because he didn't do it. It was a car accident. The guy is dead. And that's very sad. But I have no kesher to the fact that he's dead. Yes, my body killed him, but it's my body. It's just like the Amud Chashmal, how do you say it?
Electrical cabinet?
The electric what?
Electrical cabinet?
Cabinet is the Amud.
I'm sorry, the pole.
The pole, just like he bumped into the fence. I won't put the fence to Galus, okay? When I kill the onus, I'm like a fence. Like he bumped into a fence. That is my sharp answer to your concern.
I like it, yeah.
Meaning, yes, in Shogeg there is responsibility. Meaning, I did. There is a link between the personality and the result, even though it's not intentional. It's because your negligence, you weren't careful enough, whatever. Okay? You did it, or it was done by you, as he says. At any rate, you see already from in Sefer HaChinuch, it's very, very clear here in the reason, in this reasoning that he gives, loud and clear. Ir miklat. What is the meaning of the term ir miklat in Hebrew? Shelter, miklat. Well, that term seems dafka to fit very much with what I'm described in Sefer Shoftim. Here we're not talking about a miklat. It is, of course, functionally serving also as a miklat, as a protective place. But here the emphasis is what? Punishment. That's the word. And by the way, it fits very well with the beginning of the Sefer HaChinuch, what we read in the definition of the mitzvah. What is the mitzvah? Beit Din has to throw him over there. He needs to stay there. He can't go out till the Kohen Gadol passes away, and he is commanded to reside there, meaning it's a punishment. Okay, so consequently, the Sefer HaChinuch says loud and clear, the reason is punishment. Okay, now here I'm adding something that I read in Rabbi Samet. Rabbi Samet points out that the word miklat has double meaning. That's a unique word of his. The simple term is indeed shelter, protective. But he says kalut. It means
Easy?
no, with a tet. It means narrowing, meaning a city where his life is narrowed, is limited, meaning it's a description of the city as a punishment. Okay? Interesting. Ve'od yesh tikun ha'olam b'mitzvah. He adds, there is also another reason, a tikkun olam in this mitzvah, כמו שבאר הכתוב, שינצל עם זה מיד גואל אדם, לבל יהרגנו. הלא חמאס בכפיו, שהרי שוגג היה. Now he gives the reason of Sefer Dvarim. You see, it says there's also a big Sefer fixing of the world in this mitzvah, because by that he will be saved and sheltered from the blood revenger. So we see Tzmamash, the two reasons are corresponding to the Chakira. What is an Ir Miklat? A punishment or a shelter? So first reason that he gives punishment, and then he says also another benefit of this commandment that we have to throw him there because by that he is saved. V'od to'elet b'davar, another benefit of it, leval yir'u krovei hamukeh harotzeach leinehem tamid במקום שנעשתה רעה וכל דרכי התורה נועם. That's very interesting reason. He says, we don't want that the people, that the people, the relatives of the victim, now they'll have to walk on the street and meet this guy. Meaning we think about them.
Stir up their emotions.
Because now that we're here, we think that that they have the right not to see him right by their face, even though he did it inadvertently, and he's really not guilty in the strong sense. Ad kan divrei sefer achinuch. Now. Look at Ot Daled. Ot Daled. Here. No. In Kuf Lamed Vav. In Kuf Lamed Vav, please kindly look at Daled. Not here. Daled here. Rabbeinu B'chaye. Now we quotes from Rabbeinu B'chaye. Hadin hazeh yoreh. This law will rule. שעליו עיקר האדם. ועיקר כל המצוות וכל עברות. ועל כן הוא נענש בגלות ולא במיתה. Why isn't he punished by death, capital punishment, only exile? Because the Ikar, Rabbeinu B'chaye, the Ikar is the lev. That's his approach generally. כפי שלא היה ליבו בהסכמת הרציחה, ואין חילנו ועונש במיתה עד שהוא הגוף והלב משותפים באותה רציחה. הגוף בתנועתו והלב בכוונתו. כיוון שלא יזם בכך גולה ואינו נהרג. Okay, he's dafka pressing the kavana to explain why galus and not retzicha. I think the emphasis here, as you noticed, is that how much it's almost identical, and only here he gets off the hook because he didn't have the intention, but he gets a galus because it's so chamur. Hey, dat Rabbeinu שחיוב הגלות משני טעמים. האחד כפרה על חטאו, one is kapara, punishment kapara. That's why when you need the Kohen Gadol, kapara. והשני להצילו. ועיין בהערות א' ד' וי' למנחת חינוך. Very nice. Good. Now we have Medinei HaMitzvah, but I'll skip it here. Okay, I made more copies, but let's start already with our stuff here. Okay, so go back to Kuf Lamed Hey. Okay. Let's see Aleph. Shenitztavu Beidin. You see the Minchat Chinuch?
Oh, sorry, I'm going all the way back to the...
Shenitztavu Beidin Shel Israel Yishloch Makei Nefesh V'Shtaga V'Arei Miklat. דינים אלו מבוארים ברמב"ם. ויכתוב בקיצור כדרכי. בסייעתא דשמיא. ישראל ההורג את חברו בשוגג. כל שלא היה במזיד היה חייב מיתה. בשוגג עולה. The criteria, everything that had it been intentional, he would get mita. In shogeg he gets galus. אבל אם לא היה חייב במיתה במזיד?
What, for all things?
What?
For all things? Anything that he would have been the chayav mitah for?
No, only ritzicha. Now he says, let's say a treifa, chen haoreget a treifa, that you won't get capital punishment for that. או in נפל, בוודאי כיוון שפטור ממיתת בדין, פטור בשוגג מגלות. Meaning, there is a comparison. Okay? There is a comparison.
Between the capital punishment and galus. So if you would not get capital punishment...
Which is again a certain indicator as it's a punishment, you understand?
Yeah.
Where is this referring to? No, I need to find where is this aleph. One second. Okay, now skip to Gimel. ואחד ההורג גדול, אוקיי? או אפילו קטן שכלו לו חודשיו, ואפילו הורג עבד כנעני או שפחה כנענית שחייבים במצווה סקנושים, דינם כישראל וחייב גלוס עליהם. Okay? See what he says? something very interesting that the Sefer HaChinuch will say himself in the continuation. Even if he killed an Evet Knani, okay? Even if he killed an Evet Knani, then he's Chayav Galus.
But he would not be Chayav Mitzvah, right, for killing them.
That's one point. But I think there is, not I think, I read, there is even a greater point. Does Evet Knani have a Goel Adam?
Oh, yeah. No.
So here is a good nafkamina, whether it's a punishment or just a shelter. If it's a shelter, there's no need for a shelter here. If it's a punishment, then it's a punishment. Okay, let's see. ופשוט אם האב היכה עבדו ועמד מעת לעת ומת בגוונה דלא שייך לרוח בלבלתו ולא כפרקס פטור מגלות כיוון דבמזיד לא היה חב מיתה פטור מגלות משווה כן היה ברוסה. Now look, you're not right. He brings the case where when you kill an Evet Knani you're patur memita b'mezid, and in that case he says you're also patur migalus, but stam shooting your Evet Knani you're chayev mita b'mezid. Consequently, the only nafkamina is that since the Evet doesn't have relative, so there is a pilpul here because maybe then kol Yisrael is called them, but whatever. Now, let's read Daled, next page. Wait a minute, I want to see if I want to read it. I want to read it. Yeah. Here, again, I won't read it, but I'll just say again, there is this discussion about the strict parallelism. Only when you were had you did it intentionally, you have your mazid. Only then you have the galus and shogeg. All pressing towards the concept of punishment. Yeah, because if it's a shotgun, well, if the guy is upset, he's upset. Now I want to kindly ask you to look. Before we'll look at, I want to look here in Kuf Lamed Hey. I want to look at footnote Aleph soon, but before that, I want you to look at another thing. A big skip. One second, okay? Aleph Daled Yud Zayin. Zayin Yud Daled. What is Yud Daled? Yet no. Right. Good. I want to look at Kuf. Hold on a second. We're skipping to Kuf Lamed Tet. But no, you don't have it. I'm giving it to you. Siman Yud Tet, Seif Katan Yud Tet. You see it? Yeah. That's a very nice halacha that I like. I have some chidushim here, so let's see. Ve'otzeach shegala eino yotze misham ad mitat kohen hagadol, as we have seen. Kasher yavoar lekama. And the Rambam rules based on the Mishnah in the Gemara. Ve'asur latzet misham, afilu lepikuach nefashot. אפילו כל ישראל צריכים לו כיואב בן צרויה. Look at that. He is not allowed to go out of there, even if he can save people. Is it Yaharug Val Yavo? What's going on here? He has a commandment not to get out of his Ir Mikla. But if there is he's a doctor, and he's the only doctor that can save this guy outside. Pikuach nefesh. What?
We'd expect that he can be, that he has to be.
Because pikuach nefesh, and it says, the Rambam says, asur latzet misham. Afilu lepikuach nefashot. Afilu kol Yisrael tzrichim lo keyoav ben tzriya. Meaning, look how terrible it is. Even if you will save many, not one. He is the best soldier. He is the best chief army of staff. And now there is a war. We need him. No, he stays in Ir Mikla.
Well, that makes it sound to me like less of a punishment and more for his protection.
Thank you. That's why I'm mentioning it. I said that for basic Hakira. And now you'll see, surprisingly, that someone is stubborn to a big gadol to interpret it the opposite of what we're saying. You'll see how. But I insist that you're right, and not only me, many achronim, including Rabosher. Ve'im yatsa misham b'meizid. So if intentionally he went out in order to save the Jewish people, hutar damo, his blood is permitted, meaning
he's killing himself effectively.
ureshut beyad, the Goel Adam has permission to murder him. V'kol adam ha'orgo, and indeed every person will kill him. Eino ne'agana. That's another din. Ki kach gzerat hakatuv. Because no one is allowed to kill him, only the Goel Adam. But if someone killed him, he's patur because it's like killed a dead man. Okay? V'ayen b'mishnah de makos yesh girsat dekol adam chayavim alav. Yeah, there is a machloket here. Aval Rambam girsato de'ein chayavim alav. Ayin sham bagil. Okay. So that's the din. That's the din. Now the lashon of the Rambam, and I have it in my. You know what? Let's see. Now let's go to the Or Sameach. Hold on a second. Let's read the Rambam. His lashon here is very important.
שזה בעצם, אחרי העגל עם ציווי הקדוש ברוך הוא, כל הבעיה של זה לא היה עם ציווי שלו. זה לכולם הרב ומושבים מזכיר אחרי העגל על בעיה כל המסר. משה רבנו, מפסיק נבואה, משה רבנו. באמת לא מואר, משה רבנו, הוא לא מעשה. י' למידות. חמש מידות, חמש שש מידות, והשאר המתקדמים שלו. למה אנחנו... בעצם,
I might be mistaken here, so we'll wait for a second.
הסדק שנוצר תחת החובה, אבל מה זה היה? אין לי מוכן אחד, אנחנו מצב האידיאל זה כשאנחנו מתחבר את האידיאל שלא רוצים שני ביחד
Yeah. So the Rambam in Hilchos Rotzeach U'Shmiras HaNefesh says the following.
אבל בכל מקרה היה אנחנו בגדנו בחתן שלנו. אז מה אנחנו עושים? נעשה לתקן. אז מה, איך הלכנו לתקן? לקצה שלו. בעצם, מה זה בעצם אומר? הרי טעינו ברוחם.
Hagola. You're listening? Let's even see it together. Because the words here are important. Okay, you're all hearing us? הגולה אינו יוצא מעיר מקלטו לעולם. Important. אפילו לדבר מצווה, או לעדות, even for a מצווה. לעדות, בין עדות ממון, בין עדות נפשות. ואפילו להציל נפש בעדותו. By his witnessing he's going to save. או להציל מיד העובד כוכבים, או מיד הנהר, או מיד הדלקה, ומן המפולת. אפילו כל ישראל צריכים לתשועתו, כיואב בן צוריה, אינו יוצא משם לעולם, עד מות הכהן הגדול. ואם יצא, התיר עצמו למיתה. כמו שבעצם. יחזקאל inferred from here that it's a punishment. So now we'll ask, but even if it's a punishment, but b'chora pikuach nefesh, doche kol Torah kula. So you should overcome the punishment. What will we answer that?
Maybe it's not a punishment. Maybe it's protect himself.
But then it should have been said that it's an advice to it's a permission to go. Well, but that's not the flow of the words here.
He'd be killing himself. He'd be bringing on himself a potential.
So it says, Yotzei Me'er Miklatod Ha'olam, as if he's not allowed.
Yeah, but then when it talks about the
So you say he's not allowed because he's risking himself and he's not even allowed to risk himself. So now you went in a different direction. Totally different direction. Do you think that's the pshat of the Rambam? Your second direction? הגול אינו יוצא מעיר מגלתו לעולם, אפילו לדבר מצווה, ואם יצא, התיר עצמו למיתה. That's the reason? The last sentence? That's what you're saying now.
yeah. Also because of all the reasons that he gives, the reasons why he's not allowed, all these scenarios that he's not allowed to go out for. There's no way that we wouldn't allow him to go out for those things unless then he's killing himself. He's putting himself in danger.
So you're insisting now, you're backing up from your old pshat in the Rambam, that the reason why he can't go out is punishment. And you're saying, if it's punishment, then pikuach nefesh should override. So I have to say, let's look at what you're saying, that the reason for the prohibition to go is the last sentence. Ve'im yatsa itir atzmo lemita lo shaveh. Now you tell me, you know Hebrew. Why is your last interpretation weak in the Rambam in terms of Hebrew grammar? How would you expect it to be phrased? Instead of the vav here, what should it be? If that's the reason. Sheharei in Yatsa. Sheharei. Why aren't you allowed to go? Sheharei in Yatsa. Here, but he's not. That's not what he's saying. If you went, you should know that he's a dead man. So it seems that this is an outcome. It's a result, not a reason. There's a machlokas achronim how to understand that. The Or Sameach understands like your second interpretation, that ve'im yatzala itir atzmo lemita is the reason why he's not allowed. And therefore he says the Rambam here just rules a general rule, not a specific rule for Rotzech B'Shogeg. Just an example. The Rambam here just applies a general principle according to Maimonides, and it's a very extreme position. One is not allowed, not only not obligated, not allowed. Or Samat maybe said not, but the pshat of the Rambam is not allowed. Not allowed to go. One is not allowed to risk his life, even for the purpose of rescuing many Jews. And then not many, Kol Yisrael. Which is a pretty astonishing halacha. But that's what's written here. And that's how, or Sameach, maybe he's kvetching the Yotzei, meaning he is not obligated to, he's not mechuyev to go out to save them, okay? So let's say you even kvetch that, and you don't say it's an issur. But he said one is not obligated to risk himself in order to rescue even Klal Yisrael. That's even doing it a bit moderate, but still that's what's written here, according to my mind. And he's medayikid, and he's also medayikid from a pasuk, and he says from there the Rama, and that's how the Rambam interprets the Gemara that says Sham Yeshev, Sham Teheh Mitato, Sham Teheh Kvuato. Not a punishment, but rather that he is not obligated, or maybe he's not allowed to risk himself in order to save other people.
But that's a
However,
bit of a stretch.
however, the pshat of the Rambam, according to me, according to Rav Unterman, according to the Sridesh, according to Rav Asher Weiss, according to many, is not that way. That v'im yatzai hitir tzvolamita is a result. And now we'll have to answer the question, well, how come this punishment is doche kol haTorah, is doche pikuach nefesh? Do you have any idea to answer? How did we explain the punishment of Galus?
It's like killing him.
It's like a capital. It's some reflection, derivatives of bavua. I'll say the word in here of chiyuv mita. I think that explains it. He can't go out because that's the meaning of it. That's the Xeros HaKatav. Sham tehem mitato sham. He is dead. He is not alive. He is not alive. He has no kesher to these Jews that are in danger. They're out. His life, miklat, as Rav Samet explained, miklat, his life is narrowed. He is not. What happens out of the Ir Maklat is not relevant to his life. That's it. That's part of his punishment. He's a dead man. In terms of all the rest of the Ir Miklat, he's a dead man. Doesn't exist. Okay? I'm saying that because Rabbi Asher is kvetching, and where I humbly disagree with Rabbi Asher. So, but how come pikuach nefesh? How come? So he says, I explained the Rambam that when it says afilu latzil nefesh, it means that also others can. It's not dependent only on him. And then he says, but it says miyad adleika. Okay, other people can extinguish the adleika too. It says afilu kol yisrael tzkan l'chot okay abin tzura. Well, there are other chief army of officers. It's not. Furthermore, it's such a kvetch. It says afilu lehatzil nefesh be'eduto. Who says there is another witness? Meaning there's someone here that is about someone here is in trial, and only you, it seems to be, knows. Only you know a testimony that will save him. Who says there are other witnesses? Can he count it? So that's a big fetch. Rav Asher starts to say, I think, the right pshat. That's the tragedy here. And then he...
Could you discuss with him?
No. And then he withdraws. Because he says here, I'll read Rav Asher's words here. He says, V'aya nira l'chora d'gzeros hakatavi. D'avin asher nas shama. כל חייו וכל הווייתו שרוצח בשביל גאים מוגבלים לעיר מקלט. That's the good, I like what he says. כמבואר במשנה, אפילו שר ישראל אינו יוצא משם. שם תהיה דירתו, שם תהיה מיתתו, שם תהיה קבורתו. אין זה ככל מצוות עשה דבטל משום פיקוח נפש. דכאן הווה גזירה סכתוב דבשום פנים אין יוצא. Okay? And even he's commanded to be buried in the Ir Miklat, and he's already dead, so it's not a regular mitzvah. Sham te'eh mitato. But he says, but me'echi teiti l'chadesh the mitzvah zo doche pikoch, v'lo mistaber l'maken kol. So I think it is mistaber. That's the gzeras hakatav. Shum kach nira ikar באמת אין לדון כלל גדר פיקוח נפש ממש. He starts to talk about Israel. The me Amar the Rakadam Zemisuga, who said that only he could beat the war. Shemish Milchama. The Yesh Bezeh, yeah, but I does, yeah. Then he says he has another argument that then the Goel Adam is not allowed to kill him, so again there is no risk.
It's a difficult Rambam. Is he
Achem b'divrei Avam b'vor de'ino yotzek kedei la'atil milistim leika. When you're at the Abela in din pikuach nefesh, and atzilim rabim yesh. Well, he ignores one thing. I really need to ask him. He's making a censor of the Rambam. I'm saying here harif words. What about la'idadu? You see that he's not relating to that? This example kills his child. That's the truth. Ein ma lasot. The pshat of the Rambam is clear. He is stuck there because it is a capital punishment. That's the reason he is dead. Okay, that's all. And furthermore, that's his kapara. That's why he needs to stay till the Kohen Gadol passes away, because it's kapara. Okay. Furthermore, a proof, and in the continuation of the Sefer HaChinuch it's written, but we didn't get to it yet, that it's an explicit pasuk in Masay. As we said in our parsha, the trend is punishment. And A, he needs to be there till the Kohen Gadol dies. B, kapara. B, the Torah says you can't get ransom for rotzchim. Meaning, let's say there's a rich man who murdered. Now he offers a lot of money. The Torah warns, don't accept that. And the Torah in the same passage, and also for Rotzach Bishgaga, there is no ransom. And why? Because the land will not be mitkaper. The land is contaminated by the blood that was spilled. So you see again the direction. There is a kapar for him and for the land by killing the Rotzeach B'mezid and exiling this guy. So that's it. It's an absolute thing. You understand that that's the direction in our parsha. Yeah, there's a comparison, and that's the pshat of the Rambam.
How do we explain? Well, the two things. How do we explain the other parsha?
No, the other parsha is fine because there's also an element of shelter. Okay, now let's see Kuf Lamed Hey.
The Pikuach Nefesh thing I think is still not necessarily it's not everybody would find that such an easy explanation.
But I think that's the pshat in the Mishnah and the Gemara. Definitely a more pshat than how the Or Sameach explains. Now let's look at the Or Sameach. The Or Sameach Uchiach midin ze the din galus eino rak latzilo migoelatam. Ela shechav lo shum kapara. Dafka the opposite. Wait a minute. Aleph. Chayav galut aliyim. Yeah, exactly. That's the proof, because an Evid, that's an Afkamina. It's not only a shelter. The Raka Ra'ui L'Yerusha Yachol Liot Goel Adam V'Abe'evid Shein Lo Chayis. Exactly what I said. Umuter Bevito Mi Yigal Damo Al Korcha Shagalut Yigam Mishum Kapara. Very nice. All right. Abalayin. The Evid Yoresh David.
It's had a punishment.
Biduk. The Ein LeEved Katad Avav. The Ein LeEved Goel Adam. In Ganan Yushulat. Okay, that's we mentioned that. Now let's look. Okay, I want to. So first of all, that was my main point here. Now we'll see more nafkaminot on this. And the more nafkaminot is in a second. I'll be here. Sedem.
זה ביום בצד, בצד זה גם יום שמחת, כאילו, המשל מביא יומיים שהם שמחים, ואז מביא הפסוק, שמחלק הפסוק לשניים, והשניים הזה, זה דיבור.
Okay, good. Now, I want to show you another thing in the Minchas Asher that is relevant to our case, and that is the Marsha. The Marsha is saying the following. One who killed without Eidim, it says in the Gemara in Brachos, in Makos, one who killed without Eidim, Kadosh Baruch Hu causes him that he will kill again with Eidim. One who killed the shogeg without Aiden. Sure. Yeah, Kadei Sheyigla, so that he will get the Galut. Biksha Maharsha. Maharsha asks, Kevan da Galut liir miklati na'ila Kadei lehatzilo miyad goyel adam. כן זה שהרג בראשונה בלא עדן, ואין חשש להריגתו על ידי גואל אדם, הרי לא מתחייב בגלות כלל. Okay? So here again, the Maharsha has an assumption that it's only to save. Only when there is a risk. And עיקר ההנחה תמוד כבר לכל הקשה. וגם על הריגת עבד כנעני חייב גלות, אם הרגו בשוגג. הרי אין לו חייס. Okay? So here's the nafkamina that I mentioned. Now let's look at the Minchat Chinuch continuation. Yeah. Midinei HaMitzvah, so we skipped some. Now look at that. Uma she'amru she'Yisrael gole im ratzach eved oger toshav. What we saw in the Minchat Chinuch and now kol sheken eved sharag Yisrael she'nemar aval ger toshav. Okay. Let's continue. ונוהגת מצווה זו בזמן שישראל יושבים על אדמתם וסנהדרין שיושבים במקומם ומוכן להם בירושלים לדין דיני נפשות. Here, why does it have to do with the דיני נפשות? For the reason I said. And that maybe explains also why it's not a separate mitzvah for him and for the baby. Because the whole idea is the punishment.